Hello everybody, good evening and welcome to the United Stand. Manchester United will be purchased by Sir Jim Ratcliffe, with Qatar pulling out of the purchase of Manchester United. We'll get into the finer detail of what that means for Manchester United's future. But for me, and I'm sure many other people tonight, it means the end of Manchester United. It is game over. We will get into that. But let me just say this. This is without question the worst day in Manchester United's recent history. And I do not say that for sensationalism. I say it because I absolutely believe it. There is nothing in this news of Sir Jim acquiring a percentage of Manchester United that makes me think there is any hope. And I will break that down. I will not be losing my shit and ranting here. I will break down my fears of the last few months. And the bottom line is that I think Qatar could have offered 7 billion and they still would not have taken it. The Glazers have been given a lifeline by Sir Jim Ratcliffe, and he has fucked the future of this football club. He is an enemy of this football club. You can jump. Look, I fully respect the fact that I've seen people on Twitter trying to wind people up saying, I feel Ineos. You know, I don't want state ownership. Well done. You've won whatever he thinks you've won. You know, there was always people that didn't want Qatar and they did want Sir Jim. But what I would say about Sir Jim Ratcliffe is these things. He is a enemy of this football club, the same way the Elliott Group was. The Glazers were on their knees, absolutely screwed. The only way they could stay is if somebody gave them money to stay. And Sir Jim Ratcliffe has allowed that to happen. The interesting thing for me here is two things that I've always said. Firstly, Qatar will buy another Premier League club and we will reap the whirlwind of that mistake that the Glazers have made. They will go and buy another football club to show what they could have done for this football club. And fair play to them. They've got every right to do that. So we are about to lose to another rival anyway. Man City are already miles ahead of us. Newcastle are already miles ahead of us. And there will be another club that will be owned by Qatar this time that will go miles ahead of us. Because regardless of what Sir Jim Ratcliffe's master plan is, it's been a 4-year fucking failure at Nice. And that's bloody playing in the paddling pool compared to the ocean you're about to jump into the Premier League. So he hasn't got a track record. The second thing I would say is, Chelsea had the foresight to refuse his offer. Barcelona had the foresight to refuse his offer. Manchester United have taken his offer. This guy is not a credible owner of Manchester United. This guy is a desperado who has got lucky third time lucky. You know, he tried to get Chelsea, he tried to get Barcelona, he's gone to Manchester United, the Glazers have seen a lifeline, he's seen an opportunity, and that is now the future of Manchester United. It's over. It's over. Match-going fans, local fans probably make up more than half the stadium. If they can't empty it, then they don't deserve Qatar, says Stuart Walker. Qatar are harbouring Hamas and can go... Nelson, we're not going political. Serious concern, point Mark. What happens if Ratcliffe pegs out? Would there be a contingency plan? I wouldn't give a shit about whether you're worried about the life expectancy of Sir Jim Ratcliffe, mate. I'd be more concerned about the life expectancy of Manchester United because it's flatlining this Saturday evening on the 14th of October. We are fucked. We are fucked. You know, you can go and get Harry Potter around and play around with his wand if you want to, but we're done. We're done, and I'll tell you why we're done. And that, you know, I've even seen people on social media going, at least the Glazers are going. What type of Pratt juice are you drinking? Do you not understand what this means for Manchester United? We are fucked. Completely and utterly done. And if you don't understand that, you know, it's probably better off being you tonight, because I don't know what you think's good about this. Do you think there is a chance that this could be Qatar giving the Glazers a public last chance to accept? No, I don't, Daily Hibbert. Worst day in the recent history of this football club, says Andrew. Absolutely, absolutely. You know what? I think that the Glazers never really wanted to sell. But look, there's a few things I want to go back on here. There's a few things we'll go back on the show in the history of what's happened over the last year. Because I know what's happened. I know exactly what's happened. And if you've been a long-term viewer of the United Stand, there's two things that you'll remember that I'm about to say. First of all, I said that, and I said it in January for the first time, we had Ben Jacobs on the channel a few months ago, he said the same thing. We'll know when it's over when the loser pulls out. And at 6 o'clock tonight, when I saw Fabrizio Romano's tweet, I knew Sir Jim had won. I knew it, because I knew when someone pulls out, it's because they know they've lost. And I knew that was it. I absolutely knew that was it. But I go back to November last year, when the Glazers said that they were putting the club up for sale. And I said it, and I said it a few times since. I think they've got something lined up. I think they've got something lined up. And you go back to 2 months before, where Sir Jim Ratcliffe was saying what great people the Glazers are. And you go back to a month before that, where he was heavily linked to an offer for Man United in the summer that we got Casemiro and Anthony. And United mysteriously found 150 million quid for Anthony and Casemiro, but they didn't have it a few weeks before. And I just started to think, there's something going on with Sir Jim and the Glazers. This club was never really for sale. This was about how they could find a way to stay and somebody prop them up. And Sir Jim Ratcliffe says, I'm your man. I'm your man. And as incredible as it is, I really do question some of the people that have fucked the people over this summer. You know, some of them are ex-players, some of the twats on Twitter telling us that we're going to be bought by Qatar. And, oh, we're hearing that something's going to happen with Qatar. Well, who was telling you this bullshit? And why did you put your face to it? There were times over the last few months that I felt that Qatar were going to win, because I genuinely thought that the Glazers would look to sell. But when you look at it now, they were never selling the football club. Absolutely not. And I want to talk about what the future is for United. As a realist, I firmly believe in preparing and assuming the worst. It's what softened the blow to this news. In all honesty, I don't think I can, in good judgment, risk ruining my weekend watching Man United, says Sumi. Tottenham, West Ham and Liverpool look ripe for takeover. What damage will this do to the squad morale, says Catch Up. I fully believe the club is done, says Sean Turner. I really want Ten Hag to walk and the players to put in transfer requests. This is about to turn very toxic at United, says Sean Turner. Look, my personal opinion, for what it's worth, and it might not mean anything to any of you, I'm reacting to this 2 hours after the news like you. I was in a Chinese restaurant on a meal I'd booked with my family because it was international break Saturday, and it's the one Saturday night where I can go out for a meal. And literally I sat down there, ordered the drink, looked at the restaurant menu, looked at my phone and went, okay, this is one of the biggest and worst days of my life as a Man United fan. Hold off the crispy duck. But I was like, I can believe the outcome. I'm not shocked that Sir Jim Ratcliffe's bought the club. I can believe that. But what do I feel as a football fan? Well, my main purpose of this video is to dissect what the future is and why I think we're fucked. Because I think everyone will say that and they won't actually explain why. So I'm going to go why we're done. And I'm going to explain that in a moment. But what's my personal stance on this? Because everybody's going to be frustrated or happy or indifferent. To me, I look at the mistakes of this fan base over the last few years, and I look at myself as a contributor to that, but also a victim of that. This is the biggest Manchester United fan community in the world. And at no point has any group had the, foresight or, morals to actually have a conversation with us and work together. Because they believe nonsense about, bedroom blogger or Forest fan or, slags all the players off. I championed this manager. We've been ridiculously positive for the last 2 years. We've stopped doing the sensationalist fan cams outside the ground. I've supported Man United all my life. This community has been wasted. It's a worldwide community, but people have gone off in their little groups to do their own little things. And I've been saying it for years. I don't care if you don't like fan content, but there's a massive audience here that's been missed through self-preservation and arrogance. And we're now going to pay the price. Like, it's over for this football club. We had an opportunity over the last 9 months, and protests were never going to be enough on their own. It needed to be much bigger, and it needed to be the whole fan base. And I look at it and I think we failed. I think we failed as a fan base because we never joined everybody up together, and we never communicated the risks of what's happened today. And what's happened today is happened. It's too late when it's been signed. We can't do anything now. It doesn't matter if you empty the ground. It doesn't matter if you damage, the stock. It doesn't matter what we do, because ultimately we failed. We should have been doing a hell of a lot more over the last 9 months, but we didn't, because we're always so fractured. It's always about who the real fan is. Who's the top fan? Who's the top red? Where are you from? Don't listen to them, listen to us. And we've been doing this for years, and it's cost us, because Liverpool don't do this. And other clubs in Europe don't do this. They come together, whether they fucking hate each other or not, they come together as one for the betterment of their football club. And we have failed again.